As far as I know, there's really only two ways you can approach this dungeon. The first is to take a really resilient team that can tank like 20 or 30,000 damage at a time with a multiplier that's high enough to break the armor on the second floor. Guan Yinping stands out as a leader who's probably the best in this area, and one other that I can think of is Red Knight Nim. The second approach is to tackle it with a team that has a high multiplier. I'd say at least 12x, ideally 16x. The team I'm going to use here is Chibi Yamato Takeru, with 2 orb changers and the strongest fire monsters that I could put together. This video will be catered towards teams that are in line with the second approach, just because I'm not very knowledgeable in using Guan Yinping to beat this one. Regardless of which approach you take, your team needs to have 8200 health and a pretty good amount of recovery for when you fight Gaia. I'd say at least 1500. If you're approaching this dungeon with a low health, high damage team like mine, the strategy is going to be the same all the way through. You basically have to sweep the entire floor before they attack you. Fortunately, this dungeon has a lot of monsters that are slow but strong, in the sense that they have high turn timers and usually deal enough damage to kill you in one shot. Make sure you adapt your playstyle to this by making the most of all of the turns that you get. In general, you should always be clearing any orbs that aren't fire, and then go for the killing blow when their turn timer reaches 1. On floor 2, you have 3 turns to kill them in the worst case scenario, which is still pretty manageable. One thing you need to keep in mind is that they have 54,000 armor, so you have to hit at least 27,000 damage just to break it, and this is assuming that you're attacking with fire. They also have 13,000 health, so you're not going to be able to kill them with most poison attacks, so you really do have to put in the damage to clear this floor. The dragon on floor 3 snores for 2 turns, uses Awakening, and then hits you for just over 37,000 damage. This gives you a net total of 3 turns to deal 400,000 damage, again assuming that you're attacking with fire. On the 4th floor, you're probably going to have to use an active unless you get lucky and already have a good number of fire orbs. If both birds are on a 2-turn timer, then you actually can afford to take 1 hit from the centaur, but I end up using an active anyway because I want to be at full health when I face Gaia. Floor 5 is definitely the toughest floor because she has the most health and she can spawn with a 1-turn timer. If this is the case, just make sure you use enough actives to get enough fire orbs on the board to kill her. If you brought an echidna with you, I do want to mention that she's extremely valuable on the next floor, so only use her if you absolutely have to. Alright, this is the interesting floor. Gaia uses a rotation of 3 attacks. The first one deals just over 8100 damage and converts 1 color to hearts. The second attack cuts your health by 99%. And the third attack just hits for 4900 damage. The important thing here is that her second attack can never kill you. What this means is that you should save up the hearts from her first attack and get hit by her second attack without using any. After her second attack, you want to use just enough hearts to get you above 4900 health, and then use the rest of them to get you above 8200 health after her third attack. If you brought an echidna with you, the simplest thing to do is just get hit twice and then use echidna's active. This will buy you enough time for her fire absorb to wear off. If you didn't bring an echidna, you have to get through 2 of her attack rotations. It's a good idea to bring Gigas because you're going to have a lot of hearts on the board right after her fire absorb wears off. Once it does, use all of your actives and just go for the kill shot.